Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan, welcome back to The Forge. In this episode of Trust Me, I'm a blacksmith. Let's finish off these tongs. So this is part 5 of this series, C4, blah blah blah, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, they will be down in the description, and also I will leave as many links as I can at the end of the video in the cards. Now I suggest you go and watch the first video before watching this video, unless you actually want to know about riveting. What's going to happen today is I'm going to rivet these tongs together using a piece of mild steel, 3/8 or 10mm round. I'm just going to get these riveted together. I'm then going to set my reins, and I'm also going to set my nibs. I'm just going to talk to you guys about going through that process, and these are pretty much finished as far as I can tell, and then hopefully I'll be able to use them. For this video you're going to need to go and make yourself a little bolster plate. This is another type of bolster plate. I'm going to show you how this works in a minute. Basically I needed a 12mm spacer. This is that 12mm spacer, so you're going to have to go and do that as well. I'll talk about that again in a minute. Yeah, right, I'm going to get on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish, just tidy these reins up a bit. I didn't spend very much time on them when I drew them out, just to give you an example of how quickly they can be done. But I'm just going to spend a little bit of time just tidying everything up, and I'm also going to make them a bit shorter. These are scrolling pliers, not action tongs, so they don't need to have the same sort of geometry as a pair of tongs. They need to be more like a pair of pliers. I'm going to get on with that, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so basically what I've done is I've just drawn these out so that they resemble a pair of pliers rather than a pair of tongs, just because they sit a bit better in the hand, and it sort of, you can see them from a way off that they're not tools to be used for digging around in your fire, basically. I was always taught to sort of respect scrolling pliers because they have a certain job to do. But if you're making your normal reins, just tidy your reins up and leave them as the length that they came out if you stuck to my measurements. I think I got those wrong to start with anyway. Now, what I've done here is I've drilled two 11mm holes in two pieces of 6mm plate. And why have I done that? Well, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to put one tong there, one tong here. I'm going to take my 3/8 round. That's going to sit through all the holes. Oh, do you know what I should have done, which would have been better? I'll just put that in there like that. That sits on there, like so, and this sits on here, like this. Now, why do this? Well, the distance at the top here is this bit here that's exposed is exactly the right height that I need in order to get a rivet head. Now, you really want your rivets to be, well, the head of your rivet exposed. You want 1.5 times the diameter of the rivet stock. So this is 10mm, and I want 15mm exposed. I eyeballed this to make sure it looked right, and I had 12. I've got 12mm exposed on each side. It's a little bit small, but it's not a problem. And I think what's going to end up happening is these hinge plates are going to get compressed ever so slightly when I start putting the rivet under a considerable amount of force, and that way I think that those couple of millimeters I've lost are going to be rescued by that compaction of these two hinge plates. Now, that's something to take into account as well. I like to close these rivets with the rounding side or a very large ball peen, and I hit straight down to start with to get it to close. I find it pushes the material round the bottom a lot better. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to come out of the fire. I'm going to pop it on the anvil. I'm going to pop the rivet stock hot into the cold tongs. I'm going to forge this side down and then going to turn it over, hopefully, and then this side should be set and it should give me the right size gap, and I'm going to hit this side. So these two pieces of material here need to be the distance that the rivet head needs to be on the other side. So these are two pieces of 6mm, therefore giving me a 12mm spacer. I didn't have any 12mm stock in the workshop, that's why I haven't made it out of a piece of 12mm. If I have got some, I can't find. Okay, let's get on with this. Rivet in the fire, and then the cassette subsequential heats afterwards. The rivet will be attached to the tongs, hopefully. So we'll go backwards and forwards from there. Take my rivet as hot as I dare, push it through the first tong, and then the other side, chuck those on the floor, that always helps. I'm going to hold these slightly together. Typical Dan, eh? Okay, they got stuck. I just jammed that between the vice jaws. Okay, right. Yeah, that's good and tight. I'm just going to pop this back in the fire now and get this hot. Okay, so I've got the tongs in a slightly open position, rounding side of the hammer. I'm aiming straight in the centre of the rivet, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come around, and this is known as crowning. I'm just going to go around the outside of the rivet, and then using the flat side of my hammer, give him a dollop that side. And if you look on this side, I'm just going to do the same thing here, just going to crown it, and one little, like so, and with a little bit of this heat that's left over, I'm just going to push the tongs together, and then I take them apart, and then together, and then apart. Just going to do that a few times. Now, I need to get these hot again, but that is essentially what we want. And whilst I've got a bit of heat here, I'm just going to bring these nibs together. Just working through that heat, just dressing these rivet heads up nicely. Working through those heats. Now, one of the issues I've got is these are touching back here ever so slightly. It's not a problem, we'll get that sorted. Lovely jubbly. Right. Just like that. Right, I'm going to pop these back in the fire so that we can adjust these reins up at this back end here. Okay, right, so like an absolute clown, I forgot to turn the camera on, and I've done the same thing again. No, I haven't, I've got it on this time. There you are. Like an absolute fool, I forgot to turn the camera on. Basically, what I want to do is get the ends of these nibs to line up. And I'm using this scrolling dog just here. Oh, I might have to use a pair of tongs for this. Scrolling dogs and another pair of tongs just to get everything to match up. The reins. And to be honest with you, this whole thing could do with going that way just a bit. And then this one. it all, just line everything up, get everything nice and straight, just like that. Cool. I think you can do this also by locking it in the vise and twisting everything all together. That does a nice job as well. It looks a bit more organic. This can look a bit more mechanical sometimes. Right, okay, I'm just going to quench these off and do get everything looking nice and tidy. Okay, so the back of the hinges, the back of the reins don't quite line up, and the nibs are a little bit out. So what I'm going to just do is I'm just going to take an angle grinder with a 40 grit flat disc on. Okay, so I've just popped those nibs, that just ground up a little bit just to get them a bit more uniform, just on the tips. I didn't grind anywhere else, just the tips. All I'm going to do now is just give it a good brush and just have a look at everything, make sure that these are in line. If you're going to do scrolling pliers, it's essential that everything lines up. If you're just going to be doing a pair of nibs, it's important that they line up, but your first couple of pairs, if they don't line up, it isn't going to hurt anyone. Also, what I want to have is that this nib here and this nib here come out at the same angle, and that when they make contact down the centre of the tongs, and also the central here. I'll show you a close-up of these in a second, now that they're all finished. And what I just want to do is I just want to finish the back of the reins off, so I'm just going to quench this off again. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just ever so slightly just going to flick the nib out ever so slightly, and back again, wire brush, not flick the nib out, so flick the rein out. And the reason I do this, and there is a reason for this, is I can feel the end of the reins on my hand, and it gives me something to grab to sort of register the position of the reins. Also, something else that you want to take into consideration is this end of the nib, this end of the rein must be in line with the flat side of your jaws, because when you locate what you're picking up, you will be able to indicate that you're holding what you're holding straight, in theory. And exactly the same process again. You can do this before you put your tongs together. I've just always done it this way because then I know the nibs are finished, I know they're in the right orientation, and you know, sort of just put these on as a matter of course at the end. Like so. Get this brush. Okay, there you have it. I'll take that little bit of a high spot out on this one. Just here. Nice, cool. Lovely. Okay, there you have it, an actual pair of tongs. If you've been following this all the way through and you've chosen to make a pair of scrolling pliers, that's really cool. If you've chosen to keep these nibs as flat bits, don't worry, there are videos of mine on, if you go through the tong making videos that I've got up before, there are detailed descriptions of making lots of different pairs of tongs, such as wolf jaws. I will leave those also in the description below. I might put a card up for that. There's also a very detailed video on riveting. I definitely suggest you go and check that out. There's lots of numbers and maths and stuff in there if you really want to get deep into it. These have come out really nice. I'm really happy with these. I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pair of farrier's tongs, and I'm going to do the cut rein style, and I'm going to do the little forgy down bit, only because it's something that I've never done before. And I thought it would make a reasonably interesting video for you guys. Once again, this is for the Forging It Forward Facebook group, and there will be a link to their Facebook group in the description as well. Go and check them out, they're a nice bunch of guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this and you enjoyed watching me make these bad boys. Yeah, so we'll do the cut reins ones next, and basically what I'll do is I'll go over the cutting of the reins in some detail, and then the forging of the nibs and stuff a little bit less detail. It will probably only be 2 episodes, and then what we'll do is we'll talk about fire welding, and then we'll talk about fire welding reins. So hopefully I can give you a little bit of detail, some more information and some more insight in how to do those sorts of processes as well. Hopefully speeding your practice up at home. Hopefully this has helped you get over some of your tong problems. I'd just like to point out these are things that I choose to do, the little bits at the end here, the little kinks, and also leaving these this end of the rein quite fat as it comes into the hinge plate. The reason for all of these little bits and bobs, they do things like they center the reins up, and you can use them left or right-handed. Something to think about when you're just if you just line your reins up. If you just line your reins up straight, they will tip in your hands, and you'll have to compensate with your wrist. Another thing is reins tend to crack around this point here, where the nibs are, and where the reins join into the hinge plate or the boss. That's something else to also think about. Okay, cool. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching me make these tongs, and I hope you learned something. I hope there was mega detail in there for you guys to actually get the grasp with your details. I messed up with the little bolster plate. I shouldn't have drilled it at 11mm, I should have drilled it at 10mm. That wouldn't have caused the same problem. And also I think if I'd used one piece of material, there would have been less issues as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it for you. If you did like this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber, remember, click that bell for notifications. And then I don't know how to do it. I'll probably do a video on it, but go or find out how to do it and then do a video on it. You will have to, if you want notifications of when videos are produced, you'll have to go and change your notifications in your settings on YouTube and tell them that you want to hear from me, because I think they probably changed quite a lot of stuff, so you're not getting any information about me making videos anymore, or could well be. Let me know if you enjoyed this series. I will definitely be doing more stuff like this. I think I might make a series on how to make a hammer in detail, step by step. I might even do a series on some other tools like chisels and punches, just super serious detail, helping you guys get out of the mud if you're stuck. Okay, I will leave a link to a video up here to the wolf jaw tongs I mentioned, the rivet tong video I mentioned, and this is part 1. Go and check part 1 out if you enjoyed this video. It's in super detail, lots and lots and lots of information. And this is the subscribe button. If you click that, you will subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.